Welcome back to Toledo's most local 9 a.m. show. Good day. So you might not know French, so I'll translate. I have the easy part.
Yeah.
The Cage of Crazy People.
You may know it better by Cage Aux Folles, and you could find out what it's all about at the Croswell and Adrian. Eric Parker and Johnny Reed are here to explain. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
Thanks for being
morning.
here today.
Oh, glad to be here.
So this is a stage play, but the story, while you may not have heard the title of that play, the story may be similar based on a popular movie that came out. When was that, in the 90s?
96, I think.
96, The Birdcage we're talking about. But the plot line is similar. So talk us through what the story's all about.
The story, it's about a family, and the son is getting married. The son's parents are a gay couple, and his fiance's father is an ultra-conservative politician. And from there, all kinds of fun ensues.
Sounds like it gets pretty tense.
So the first act is learning, learning and figuring out who's going to be at the dinner, and then the second act is actually the dinner.
Okay,
It's
to see
weird.
how it all goes.
It is kind of like your standard sitcom plot in a way of like, you know, the kid who's a little embarrassed of his parents and stuff. It's a little more dramatic, of course, given the context of who the people actually are. Alban's the lead performer at a drag club on the French Riviera, and I'm the manager of the club, and so the kid has grown up with this, but now, you know, somehow goes out into the world and realizes that not everyone is like this. So, okay, you know, and he falls in love with this girl who happens to have this father who makes problems. It all comes out well in the end, of course, like they do. But I think, it's a very timely message.
So
Isn't it? Yeah.
this is an adaptation from Birdcage, or how similar?
No,
how similar is it?
Well,
Other way around?
there's a
Right. There's a French film from the 1960s titled Le Cage aux Folles.
So that's where Birdcage.
And that's the source material for
the musical.
the musical and for the Birdcage.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Birdcage, when Mike Nichols directed it, and he had these, had Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, he let them mostly improvise the dialogue. The situations are the same, but it's the scripts are completely unrelated as far as what people are actually saying to each other. But the musical, when it opened in New York in 1983, they threw a lot of money at it. They did not expect it to be the hit that it was, and it ran for 4 or 5 years. I mean, it was a huge success, and then it was released to regional theaters, and not many regional theaters did it because more, I think, not the subject matter, but more the expense of the costuming, and the Croswell kind of went out on a limb in Adrian to produce this thing, and not only because of the subject matter in a small town, but it's kind of an anchor of the Pride Month stuff they've got going up there in the city. But because of the expense of doing it, and we've got a great creative team with it, and a wonderful director, John McNaughton, Jonathan Sills, leading the orchestra. I mean, it's a really coming together as a fabulous production.
And speaking of the orchestra and the music, there's one particular song that I think gained a lot of popularity. I Am What I Am, and what Gloria Gaynor, I think.
Gloria Gaynor covered it, yes.
Covered that.
Yeah.
So we that became what the gay national anthem.
It was.
Right? Yeah.
For many years. It was a gay anthem, especially in 1983 in the original release. That's when the AIDS crisis was really just starting to hit. So at that point, you know, it took on a different meaning. What I like about that song now is it can really translate to anyone. It talks about the specific situation that we're in the show, but anyone who's ever felt othered or not enough can relate to this song, because it's just about, you know what, accept me. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for
And why is it
anything
so
else.
hard to, you know?
And you two mentioned the message, that the message in this is a message that is relatable for today. So why do you say so?
Well, because I think marginalized communities are being pushed back into the margins, and that's a political and cultural movement, it seems, and it's not really the world I thought I was going to grow old in, and I think it's regressive, and I know that we talked a little earlier, I think they deliberately constructed this musical to be a little old-fashioned-y while presenting this message of inclusivity, but I think the message remains potent, and I mean, if people will be entertained, they'll laugh at some of the stuff, and they'll like the dancing,
It'll be a show. Yeah.
Yes, they'll enjoy
there's
the
a
show,
spectacle.
but there's a message underneath that I hope they can at least go away and go, yeah, is it really that bad to just say, yes, you are who you are and I am who I am, and isn't that great? It's a world full of different people, and it doesn't seem
There's
that
the
hard.
family message too.
Yes.
About the importance of family.
Yes. Extremely so.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially with the Jean-Michel character. I mean, that's his transformation.
Yeah.
It's our son.
The son, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when do you guys open? When
Tonight.
Tonight. Okay. Get to Adrian tonight. And how do you do a couple weekends or how many?
We do 2 weekends. Excuse me. We do 9 performances over 2 weeks. I believe it's 9 performances over 2-week curtain for the evening performances at 7:30 and 2:30 for matinees. And we do
a lot of
matinees
work.
on Saturdays and Sundays.
It is
It's a lot of work.
They do all that stuff, and then it's over in a couple weeks.
Right.
Okay, Ray, remember that?
But it was fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
No, thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Great
Yeah.
gig.
No, thanks.
Well, next on Toledo's most fun, local, and positive 9 a.m. show, 2 things we know Amanda likes.
Well, yeah. There's one and there's the other one, beer
Yep.
and bacon.
That's it.
They fill up both this weekend in the Birmingham neighborhood of East Toledo. The details coming up when Good Day continues.